have achieved complete surprise. The soldiers and sailors on Oahu are unaware of what is about to happen. Imagine, it is December 7th, 1941, Pearl Harbor, Hawaii, and you are there! Confusion as the first bombs explode, the first sirens and alarms sound. Right now, right here, listen. Listen to the sounds of battle. Hear the sirens just as they did that fateful day. Feel the explosions hammer your chest. Smell the smoke as it burns your nostrils just as they did. Look, listen, and remember. The Japanese planes attack relentlessly. Many servicemen believe the attack is some kind of crazy air raid drill. They think the airplanes are American. In fact, one soldier remarks, "This is the best dang drill the Air Force has ever put on." But when the rising suns become visible on the wings of the airplanes, everyone knows this is no drill. General Short, the commander of Army Forces, is notified of the attack while playing golf. His response, "That is ridiculous." General Short will wish he could have been right, but he has never been more wrong. The highly coordinated attack goes off like clockwork. At 07:55, bombers attack Wheeler and Hickam Air Force Base. 2 minutes later, torpedo planes, just like the ones you are seeing in front of you now, begin their attack on Battleship Row. Sleepy-eyed sailors stumble outside to see Japanese airplanes everywhere, circling the skies, waiting to attack. The ship lined up side by side along Battleship Row in the middle of Pearl Harbor like sitting ducks make great targets. In fact, the Japanese have designed new torpedoes capable of striking the ships in the shallow harbor, a technological advantage the Americans are sadly unaware of. The practice ship Utah was the first to be hit. It lists and sinks. The light cruiser Raleigh takes 2 torpedoes. The battleship Oklahoma and West Virginia are next. The Oklahoma lists, then capsizes, rolling onto the USS Maryland, a battleship moored beside it. When the Oklahoma sinks, her belly thrusting out of the burning waters of Pearl Harbor, hundreds of men are trapped. Only 32 of these men will be rescued, and not until a full 36 hours after the attack. The battleship California takes 2 torpedoes and sinks. At the same time, the USS Arizona, which has already taken a torpedo, has a bomb strike next to its number 2 turret. This 1,700-pound missile penetrates deep into the belly, first through 1 deck, then 2 deck. It lodges next to the number 2 magazine and explodes. Seconds later, that great ship erupts like a volcano rising into the air. Almost 1,200 men perish at that moment, sent to a watery grave. Those brave young men still rest in the hold of the ship at the Arizona Memorial, a testament to their courage, their sacrifice, and their honor. At 08:35, the first wave ends. The damage is horrendous. In Washington, at 08:50, Hawaii time, early afternoon in the States, an hour after the attack began, Secretary of State Cordell Hull, well aware of what is transpiring in Hawaii, erupts when given a letter from the Japanese breaking off peace talks. I have never seen a document that was more crowded with infamous falsehoods and distortions on a scale so huge that I had never imagined until today that any government on this planet was capable of uttering them. The second wave of Japanese attacks swarms over Hawaii at 08:55. 132 additional aircraft spread out to hit ships, airfields, and barracks throughout Oahu. But for the second wave, the element of surprise is gone, and the Americans fight back, making the Japanese pay, inflicting some damage of their own. A bomb hits the destroyer Downs while she sits in dry dock. Another strikes the commander of naval forces, Admiral Husband E. Kimmel's flagship, the battleship Pennsylvania, which is in dry dock also, detonating guns and ammunitions. Dive bombers attack the Raleigh, which has already been hit by torpedoes. 1 bomb misses the ship's aviation tanks by mere feet. The battleship Tennessee takes 2 bombs and sinks. In order not to block the channel that leads out of the harbor, Lieutenant Commander Thomas beaches the wounded Nevada at Hospital Point. The day has numerous stories of heroism. Lieutenant Commander Thomas on the Nevada at the south end of Fort Island gets the ship going even while he's wounded. The ship is able to open fire at 0802 even though the captain and senior officers are not on board. Also, on the Nevada, 21-year-old Joseph Taga Jr. officer of the deck, mans the aircraft battery and continues to direct enemy fire at enemy aircraft even after the bullet passes through his thigh. He refuses to leave his comrades, refuses to leave the battle, refuses to give up. As word of the extent of the devastation reaches Washington, the country is stunned. Later that day, President Franklin Roosevelt addresses a shocked nation.
Yesterday, December 7th, 1941, a date which will live in infamy. The United States of America was suddenly and deliberately attacked by naval and air forces of the Empire of Japan. The attack yesterday on the Hawaiian Islands has caused severe damage to American naval and military forces. I regret to tell you that very many American lives have been lost. With confidence in our armed forces, with the unbounding determination of our people, we will gain the inevitable triumph, so help us God.
At 10 o'clock, the last of the strike force makes its way back to the waiting carriers, and the Japanese ships begin their long journey back to Japan. The attack lasted only 120 minutes, but American bases lay in ruins. Smoke billowing up from the devastation. 8 battleships, 3 cruisers, 3 destroyers, and 4 auxiliary ships. 18 ships in all lay foundering in the oil-covered waters of Pearl Harbor. More than 350 aircraft stand broken or completely destroyed. In reality, America's Pacific Fleet has simply ceased to exist. But most horrific, 3,500 Americans lay dead or wounded in what remains of Pearl Harbor and Hickam Air Force Base. The Japanese lost 29 planes and less than 200 men. The Army and Navy spend the rest of the day attending to the wounded and putting out fires. The Arizona alone burns for 3 days. There were also stories of irony. Yeoman First Class Leonard Webb rushes to get his wife and child to a car. This is his story. When we're almost in the car, my wife says, "The baby doesn't have any diapers. Get some." This is Armageddon and the end of the world, and my wife has me changing diapers? Yes, President Roosevelt issued a call to arms, and America listened. No one expected the surprise attack that fateful day. America was not ready for war, but America responded. America pulled together, and America was victorious. Young men joined the armed forces to defend this nation as women took their place in factories working long, hard hours to energize American industry, to produce the needed materials to send the nation to war. Families rationed food and gasoline and many other items, sacrificing their own needs for the good of a nation. Liberty Gardens sprung up around the country so food could be sent to troops abroad. An entire nation refused to give in, refused to quit, refused to allow democracy to be destroyed. This nation stood strong, stood proud, and in the face of adversity against all odds, this nation prevailed. This was not the first time Americans have been challenged, threatened, or tested, and it will not be the last. Right now, as we enjoy this wonderful day, our sons, daughters, husbands, wives, uncles, our cousins, our friends, and our countrymen are defending America in far-off lands, sacrificing so we might enjoy the lasting tradition of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. We must never forget those who have sacrificed to make sure America stays strong. Please remember those brave young men and women. I would ask, when you see someone in uniform, go up to them, look them in the eye, shake their hand, and say, thank you, and we're proud of what you have done. In fact, we have a Pearl Harbor survivor here today celebrating his 89th birthday, Buck Morris. Put your hands together for Buck Morris. But this is not a story just about this nation or those who have served. It's about each and every one of you listening to me today. You can make a difference.